people will want to know which games were the greatest and in which category. And they'll raise their eyes to System Crash for the answers.
Gaming hasn't always been taken seriously as an art form. Hell, it barely is now. But plenty of kids, especially 90s kids, were awoken as the first to realise the medium's potential as a vehicle of emotional devastation from a young age, which, let's be honest, is probably the reason half of the games in this list even exist. Games can be used to deliver occasional emotional payloads that at least equal, if not transcend, the utter wreckage inflicted on our souls by other media. Because we play as and attach ourselves to characters, we feel all the more battered in the feels by what happens to them. Themes such as loss, rejection, heartbreak and loneliness have all been expertly deployed to invite us, the players, to share in the darker, bleak moments experienced by our on-screen selves. Isn't it wonderful? So here, for you pitiful mourners, are System Crash's top 10 most saddening, conflicting and emotionally destructive moments in gaming. Enjoy!
Number 10.
God of War 3, The End. Okay, so the God of War series has never made you really feel like you lived in a fair universe. Kratos murdered his family and in his grief and rage kills pretty much everyone else he meets during his roaring rampage of revenge. You never really feel any guilt over it though, because you're encouraged to commit the atrocities and let's be honest, the Olympian gods are largely dicks who deserve their punishment. Until in God of War 3 you start wasting the deities one by one, raising the sea level, extinguishing the sun, and pretty much causing the end of the world. It's pretty hard to believe you were ever on the right side of justice after that.
Number 9.
Portal, murdering the companion cube. Portal, besides being awesome, plunges you into an environment that doesn't appear to at first be capable of delivering any kind of emotional effect. The AI GLaDOS appears initially to be just the disembodied voice of the creators, until she gives you an object with which to interact, teasing at its sentience as you go through the tasks. Then she forces you to euthanize the thing by tossing it into an incinerator. In case you weren't already attached to the only interactive body in the game besides your gun, the description of the act as euthanasia makes you project life onto the thing, which causes insane levels of grief after you've finished the poor bastard. The popularity of companion cube plushies and collectibles only demonstrates this point.
Number 8.
Red Dead Redemption, The Ending. John Marston was not a good man, but he damn sure tried hard to gain his redemption, juggling manipulation from the encroaching US government, banditos, and all the things that can kill you in the Old West, for the singular pursuit of a quiet life with his wife and his young son. So, when you finally guide him right to his well-deserved redemption, it's in the title, you expect a happy ending, but the government double-crossed him, attacked his ranch, and once Marston ensures the safety of his family, you have to go outside and face the music. It's brutal and bloody and unjust, but at least you'll get the opportunity for one final act of revenge.
Number 7.
Suikoden, Gremio's death. Okay, so most people watching this haven't owned or played Suikoden, but when I played it as a kid, I was scarred by this scene. Gremio is your servant, loyal to a fault, and would follow you to hell and back, even as he approaches Navi levels of irritation, constantly worrying about your well-being as you shoulder the burden of the Soul Eater. Upon an infiltration into Sonier prison, General Milich appears, releasing spores into the chamber, and Gremio sacrifices himself to protect you and the young hope of the Liberation Army. The game kindly, or due to budgetary reasons, takes the screen off the scene as he dies, but I'll always remember that bit where he says he can't see anymore.
Number 6.
Telltale's The Walking Dead, Lee's final fate. The Telltale Walking Dead series is legendary for forcing hard decisions upon the player, but none are more gut-wrenching than this. Having sacrificed morality and several characters in the name of protecting the young child Clementine, your character Lee, origin uncertain, succumbs in the last scenes to his walker wounds. Now, as Lee, you must instruct a small child to either put a merciful bullet in his head or leave him to reanimate, just like her parents. Clementine is one of the best child characters in gaming, and you are going to feel horrible no matter which choice you inflict on her.
Number 5.
Metal Gear Solid 3, The Boss's Fate. Before Solid Snake there was Big Boss, and before he was Big Boss he was Naked Snake, who learned from the boss, who serves as an awkwardly Kojima-esque mother figure to Snake. Confused? Me too. Defecting to the Soviets at the end of the first act, the boss utterly ruins Snake and leaves him to his fate. And the larger portion of the game is dedicated to her removal from this earth. But of course, there's a Metal Gear twist. The boss defected as part of a secret mission that would ensure the US's acquisition of an enormous post-World War slush fund, and her objective was always to die at your hands. Just to push the theme of control upon you further, the game won't end until you pull the trigger.
Number 4.
Final Fantasy VII, Heiress. Well, it was always going to be somewhere, wasn't it? A few years ago, this would have capped the list. Heiress is the last survivor of the Cetra, the geo-clairvoyant humanoids who once lived in harmony with the planet. She and she alone can stop the imposter Sephiroth's plan to damage the planet so badly that he can absorb its life stream to become a god. And so she takes off alone, and you race Cloud to find her in time. Finally, you arrive, just in time to realise you never even had a choice. For most, this was the first moment in gaming history that ever caused actual tears to flow, and it will live on forever as one of gaming's most iconic moments.
Number 3.
Shadow of the Colossus, Agro's Sacrifice. It was never going to be easy traversing a hazardous and blank landscape to genocidally murder a series of gargantuan innocent beasts, especially when you're not even sure if it will bring your girlfriend back to life or not. Wander takes on this task, but not alone. He has his faithful horse, Agro, your only companion in the game. Literally, the only one. Hell, the only word that Wander utters in the game is Agro when you call your faithful steed. Like the companion cube, Agro is a lesser creature, but that doesn't stop him from having the guts to toss you across a collapsing bridge before making the ultimate sacrifice. Maybe.
Number 2.
The Last of Us. The ending. There were at least 2 moments in The Last of Us that were shoo-ins for this list, so I'll combine the best. In the first hour of the game, Joel loses his little girl to the harshness of totalitarian paranoia. He is clearly destroyed, and when he is forced by nothing more than loyalty to protect another young girl and take her across America, he isn't pleased. He obviously never recovered from the intro, but he grows to love Ellie. Thus, despite the fact that she is the only known hope of finding a cure, when Joel discovers that Ellie must die to isolate the gene that enables her immunity, he snaps. A brutal rampage ensues, with you executing friends and innocents alike as you rescue Ellie before finally lying to her about her status as the cure, just to keep her around. This one leaves you numb as you wonder if you did the right thing, and then it ends, and leaves you with your internal conflict.
Number 1.
Final Fantasy X, Tidus Disappears. Yes, it's pronounced Tidus, not Tidus, look it up. Okay, so usually I'd only do 1 entry per series, but when that series is Final Fantasy in its golden age, certain liberties must be taken. Tidus, yes Tidus, not Tidus, fuck you, it's Tidus, it is, look it up, it's easy, is an annoying character, hyperactive and unlikable until he discovers the sacrifice awaiting Summoner Yuna, his love interest and worldwide favourite to save Spira. Unable to accept a world that would regularly sacrifice its greatest champions, Tidus unravels the entire socio-political religious system in order to save her, even undoing the magic that enables him to live in the first place. So we all cried, and don't you deny it, when he pulled the plug on his own existence in order to simultaneously save and lose Yuna. Thanks for watching the top 10 saddest moments in gaming on System Crash, everybody. I hope it didn't bum you out too much. Be a pal and subscribe, maybe like or share with your friend. Just basically keep watching and we'll keep making them. Thanks very much and see you next time.